Hi, I'm Kelsey Zeiser. You're listening to the Light Reading Extra podcast. We're here at MWC in Barcelona, and I'm joined by
Nadine Allen, Head of Enterprise Business with SES.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how's the show going for you so far?
Amazing, actually. I joined SES just over 1 year ago on the 1st of January 2024. I came into SES from the telco industry. And so my first show when I joined SES was Barcelona in 2024. And this year has, everything has doubled. Double the people to the stand, double the kind of I think the interest in satellite. And so far it has been it's been really a very valuable show for us. A lot of very interesting conversations, but I think it really highlights how relevant satellite is. We saw satellite appear at this show for the first time last year, but this year I think we're seeing a doubling down of that. And then, of course, the convergence of telco and satellite is becoming very relevant and very interesting. So we really see that on the show. So all good.
Definitely, yeah. There is certainly a lot going on in the satellite industry right now, especially with the direct-to-device messaging announcements and things like that. What are some of SES's announcements this week or in recent months that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Well, I think what we are showcasing on the stand first is multi-orbit. So we've been demonstrating this week the combination of all three orbits, GEO, MEO, and LEO, that we are bringing together in unique combinations for a variety of different industries. And as you know, we work with quite a diverse range of industries, from government through to telco, through to energy, mining, aviation, cruise. So how those orbits are used and can be used in a complementary way. So that is the first thing, is the multi-orbit piece. The second, of course, is that we are doubling down on talking about mPOWER, which is our next generation MEO constellation. So we are showcasing some of the strengths of that constellation in use cases and the way it is being used in different parts of the world. And we've got, of course, the mandatory kind of antennas and so on you see on the stand. The third thing we've had is business talks, which was something we introduced last year, and they were so incredibly popular that we've repeated it this year. And we really have had, this is not really SES talking, we've had a lot of our partners, so Orange, Tampnet, we've had a delegation from Netherlands today, all talking about satellite technology and how it's being used today and its potential for the future. And then I think the last one that's really worth mentioning is that we have highlighted in partnership with Quvia, who were formerly Neuron, so they have a new name that we're all trying to learn, how we can become much more application aware in multi-orbit solutions. So they have some smart orchestration technology that uses a combination of artificial intelligence and machine learning, so that applications take the best route over the best orbit to give the best quality of experience for users, even when users face like a changing scenario.
I had the opportunity a few years ago to go to the Boeing manufacturing facility and meet with SES and get a close-up look at some of the satellites, and they did discuss software-defined networking and satellites, and also applying some learnings from terrestrial networks within the satellites as well. Do you have any additional updates on the O3b mPOWER satellite constellation? Are there going to be any launches in the near future that we should look out for?
Yeah, so we've had, we went live with O3b mPOWER in April last year. So, really happy with a successful launch. We are due to launch a further 3 satellites this year. So we're all very excited about that. I've myself participated in a launch just at the end of 2024 in Florida. And as you know, O3b mPOWER is a medium Earth orbit constellation. It is our second generation MEO constellation, and it is really designed to deliver our kind of design philosophy was performance above all. So because we are in an orbit that is kind of at a point, close enough to Earth to deliver solid latency and a really high throughput, like multiple gigabits per second, we are really finding that there is a lot of interest in the committed performance that mPOWER delivers and can deliver for many industries. So, and then you talked about software defined. Software defined, actually, in 2014, we really did pioneer the introduction of NGSO, and that was with MEO satellites. What came with that was software defined satellite technology, which really has brought unprecedented flexibility and the ability for us to kind of be more flexible with the way in which we deploy and use capacity.
Mm-hmm. And you talked earlier about the multi-orbit approach as well. Is there, among the LEO, MEO, and GEO orbits, is there one that SES is particularly focused more on, or are you across the gamut for all of those? Because we hear a lot about, I think LEO satellites have gotten their day in the sun, but what are your thoughts on the other orbits?
Yeah. Well, of course, SES has a long history with GEO, and I mean, we also have significant experience and quite unique experience with MEO, being the only MEO operator. So both of those are areas where we continue to see strengths. GEO is incredibly useful for wide area broadcast coverage, and it's a very stable constellation. MEO, as we've discussed, delivers a more advanced kind of, throughput capability and improved latency capability. So those areas are areas where we have already made significant investment and will continue to do so. LEO is an area that we are working with through partnership, but for us, it's really important that we have the flexibility to be able to use those three orbits in the right way in order to meet customer needs. The one thing I would say, however, is you've probably heard of an initiative called Iris Squared. So SES has recently been awarded a leadership role in the SpaceRise Consortium. And SpaceRise Consortium is designing, delivering, and operating the European Union's kind of next generation satellite system, which will consist of both MEO and LEO, and will cover the entire planet actually with an ultra high performance, future proof multi-orbit system. So that's also obviously an area where we'll be placing a lot of our future focus.
Yes, and really busy then.
Very busy, yeah.
Yes. Another thing they talked about when I did the tour was that the MEO satellites, I believe, have more beams to cover a broader area. Is that right? They talked about covering a cruise ship as like a floating city.
Yeah.
And,
No, what we have, the great thing about MEO is it is at a distance from Earth that allows us to cover 80% of the globe with 6 satellites. Yeah. So you can imagine how much of a kind of an area coverage you can secure from that. And in addition to that, through the software-defined capability, we also have flexibility in the way in which those beams can be configured.
And how are you addressing underserved areas as well?
Yeah, this is a personal favorite of mine, because I think it's so exciting to be involved with such amazing technology. But when you're deploying technology for good, it's even a much better feeling. Well, right now there are just under 300,000 satellite connected hotspots globally. So we've made good progress in the use of satellite to connect areas that are difficult to connect. However, 32% of the world's population still do not have access to reliable internet. So this is an area where we have already done a lot of work in Latin America, in Southeast Asia. We are working already with a lot of organizations, mainly I would say government related, where governments have really kind of leaned forward to ensure that digital access becomes a kind of basic human right. So we're doing a lot of work in Mexico. We're working in partnership with Telebras, for example, in Brazil, where we are connecting schools, health centers, communities through the use of satellite technology. Very similar trends in Colombia and Paraguay, and there are many, many more that I could mention. But I think what's important is that today, in 2024, I think there were 94 million people that were connected either directly or indirectly through satellite technology. And by 2031, we expect that to grow to about 150 million. So like a 50% increase. So quite a significant opportunity there, and definitely one that is really very important for us.
Yeah, that's excellent. And, not only those underserved areas, but also I'm not much of a mountain climber, but I have a colleague who is. So even areas like that is beneficial. And just to wrap up, there's been a lot of conversation in the industry lately about direct-to-device satellite to cellular messaging, both SOS emergency and then, regular texting and even voice. Is that something that SES has its eye on?
Yeah, well, of course, direct-to-device is probably one of the most promising extensions of satellite technology, and it is most definitely something that I think will be relied on where you cannot get reliable cellular coverage. We are looking at options there, as you might expect, and of course, it's not just about direct-to-device capabilities. There's also a broader capability and ecosystem that needs to come together. So definitely an area where we are closely tracking.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. It's been really interesting, and I'm looking forward to checking out some of the demos in a little bit. I hope you have a good rest of your show.
Great. Thank you so much.